Night falls over the Caribbean. Rusty oil tankers slip into dark waters, their names hidden. On shore, satellite images spark alarms. U.S. Navy planes circle overhead, watching every move. Headlines flash. Venezuela defies U.S. sanctions. Secret oil shipments on the move. The threat of new sanctions hangs in the air. Markets shudder. But the real story is happening in the shadows, far from the headlines. The world loves drama. Exploding headlines, naval standoffs, and diplomatic threats make for gripping news. But this focus on spectacle can be blinding. The tankers become symbols, but the real contest is elsewhere. The true battlefield is not oil alone. It is the system that moves, insures, and pays for it. While the U.S. flexes its muscles, another power is making careful moves. China is not sending warships or holding press conferences. Instead, it is building new payment systems, new networks. Quietly, it is helping Venezuela keep its oil flowing, even as the world watches the wrong front. This is the art of distraction. The U.S. hopes to make an example of Venezuela. But the spectacle only pushes countries to find new ways to survive. In the confusion, China offers a lifeline, one that changes more than just the fate of Venezuela. The world's attention is drawn to the noise. Yet, in boardrooms and back channels, the rules of the game are being rewritten. The real story is about systems, not stunts. After the Cold War, the United States stood alone at the top. Its military was unmatched, but its greatest weapon was invisible: the dollar. The world traded in dollars. Oil, cars, phones, almost everything crossed borders with dollar signs attached. The U.S. banking system became the world's backbone. This gave America unique power. To buy oil, countries needed dollars. To move money, they needed U.S. banks. If they broke the rules, Washington could punish them. With a few keystrokes, the U.S. could freeze accounts, block transactions, or even cut entire nations out of the system. Sanctions became a favorite tool. From Iran to North Korea, from Russia to Venezuela, the U.S. used its control over money to shape the world. The dollar's dominance became a shield and a sword. No other country could match this reach. But with such power comes risk. The more the U.S. used its financial tools, the more the world began to look for escape routes. The fortress, for all its strength, created its own challengers. Over time, sanctions became common. The U.S. used them to punish rivals and pressure allies. At first, the world obeyed. No one wanted to lose access to American banks or markets. But as the list of sanctioned countries grew, so did resentment. The dollar was powerful, but it was now a weapon, not just a tool. Venezuela was a turning point. Its oil industry was battered by U.S. measures. Ships were turned away. Accounts were frozen. The world watched as Venezuela's economy collapsed. But instead of surrendering, Venezuela searched for help elsewhere. Other countries watched too. If the U.S. could do this to Venezuela, who would be next? The need for alternatives became urgent. New partners were needed. New ways to trade, move oil, and get paid had to be built. China saw the opportunity. The search for escape routes began. It was slow at first, but the seeds were planted. The overuse of sanctions had started to backfire. China did not challenge the United States with threats. Instead, it offered solutions. When Venezuela faced a blockade, China stepped in. It sent its own ships, often sailing under different flags. Chinese companies insured the cargoes, and payments were routed through new systems, sometimes in yuan, not dollars. This was more than charity. China was, honestly, testing its own networks. Could it move oil without the dollar? Could its banks handle the flow? Could its insurance companies take the risk? Each shipment with Venezuela was a trial run. Each successful delivery made China's system stronger. For Venezuela, this was survival. For China, it was a chance to build. The world, saw only smuggled oil. Few noticed the new arteries forming beneath the surface. These new channels did not depend on United States approval. Quietly, China was building a parallel world. One shipment at a time, the old rules were being replaced. The Belt and Road Initiative is China's signature project. Roads, ports, and railways stretch across Asia, Africa, and beyond. But the real power lies in the contracts. China often asks for payment and trade in yuan. This creates a web of dependency, shifting trade away from dollars. Belt and Road is more than concrete. It's a strategy to pull the world into China's orbit. The shift away from the dollar did not happen overnight. There were no explosions or big announcements. Instead, it was a slow leak. Each new oil shipment paid for in yuan. Each Belt and Road project settled outside the dollar, chipped away at U.S. power. America still dominates the headlines. But in the background, the ground is shifting. Countries that once feared U.S. sanctions now have options. They can move money through Chinese banks. They can insure ships with Chinese firms. The dollar is still king, but its throne is less secure. This is how power erodes, not with a bang, but with 1,000 small cuts. The U.S. still controls the main road, but side paths are multiplying. Each one makes the old system a little weaker. The world is not abandoning America, but it is hedging its bets. Quietly, the era of total U.S. control is fading. America loves a showdown. Aircraft carriers, sanctions, and threats make for powerful stories. These moments fill the news and shape opinions. But real power is often built in the shadows, not on the front page. China's approach is different. It rarely boasts. Instead, it builds systems, ships, banks, trade routes that last. The world sees dramatic U.S. gestures, but misses China's slow, patient work. While the U.S. makes headlines, China builds habits and dependencies. These two styles are colliding. One is loud, the other quiet. One seeks to scare, the other to bind. Over time, the quiet approach may prove stronger. Systems outlast speeches. The contest is not just about oil or sanctions. It is about who can build the networks the world relies on. History is full of lessons about power and money. A century ago, the British pound ruled. London was the world's banker. But after 2 world wars, the dollar took its place. The change was slow, almost invisible at first. Old habits died hard, but new realities took hold. Now, something similar may be happening. The dollar is still strong, but cracks are showing. China's yuan is not ready to take over, but it is carving out its own space. The world is not flipping a switch, it is shifting bit by bit. Transitions like this are never smooth. They bring uncertainty and risk. But they are also a sign that power is moving, just as it did from Britain to America. No one knows how fast the change will come. But history shows that no currency rules forever. There are 3 possible futures. The first is peaceful sharing. America and China agree to new rules, and the world trades in both dollars and yuan. The second is division. The world splits into rival camps, each with its own networks. Trade becomes harder, and risks rise. The third is chaos. Systems break down, and everyone scrambles for themselves. No one can predict which path the world will take. But one thing is clear. The real contest is not about headlines or threats. It is about building systems, networks, rules, and habits that last. America still has power, but it must adapt. China is patient, building for the long term. The true winners will be those who understand that the future belongs to those who build, not just those who boast. In the end, the headlines will fade. But the systems we build today will shape the world for decades to come.